Hello, and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager 2 stream. My name is Adam. I am the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, is FHM producer Jeff, who is pictured on your screen. Say
Hey
hi,
everybody,
Jeff. And what are we doing?
we are playing it's now the 1981-82 Winnipeg Jets. We started with them back in 79-80, their first NHL year. Had a rough first season. Actually managed to make it into the playoffs in our second year. And things are not going quite so well in the third year, unfortunately. And we are, I think the last time I looked, I haven't checked the owner confidence this yet. Yeah, we're sitting about halfway down the job security meter, which is not that great. And I believe, if memory serves, we are, yes, dead last in the league. Good 6 points behind the Canucks. And we are also in sixth place in our division, which is not good because this is the first year they went back to the top four teams in the division make the playoffs. And we are 24 points behind the Leafs. So I don't think we'll be back into the playoffs this year. On the other hand, we did get a little bit of revenge in our last game. Montreal, who knocked us out of the playoffs in a sweep last year. We beat them 6-5, pretty big upset there. And I think we've won 3 out of our last 4. So maybe, just maybe, we might be turning it around here. And
Yes, but we also have a lot of young guys who haven't really produced for us yet.
Yeah, we've had a lot of inconsistency with the young guys. We took Dale Howard-Chuck in the draft like the real Jets did this year and this season, and he had such a bad start that we wound up sending him back to junior, and he's actually on the reserve list in the game. You can see there he had big 15 points in 39 games, not quite the 100 he had in real life, and for some reason his potential is showing an alarmingly low number. So I'm not sure what that's about. But hopefully we haven't broken him. We've sent him back down and hopefully get a little bit of his regular development back on track. And a lot of the guys who played really well for us last season, some of them are doing pretty well again this year. Coffey's doing okay. Babbage is coming along reasonably well. Morris Lukowich as our captain is kind of a big cause for concern right now because for some reason, he's only 25, but his skills seem to have started to decline already. So I don't know if that's just been bad luck with his training and development or if he is actually headed downhill that early. That's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Dave Christian, for some reason, is not having the greatest season in the world, even though he's had some ice time open up for him. But the thing is, I don't want to mess with any of this too much right now, seeing as we've actually finally started to win a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is play this, autoplay it all the way through the end of the month. Trading deadline is, I think, the 9th of March, and we're currently about a month away from that, February 12th. So starting at the end of the month, we'll start looking around for maybe making some kind of a deal. I don't know, you don't really want to give up too much of your future at this point, and there's no point in getting rental type players. And naturally Lukowich gets hurt now just after I mentioned him. But maybe we can pick up something to, and Hagman is hurt as well. Great, 2 of our best left wingers are.
Or trade everyone away.
Yeah, and get fired more or less immediately. But we may want to just look around, see if there's an obvious candidate on another team, and I think that's what we'll spend a good chunk of this broadcast doing, probably is looking for somebody we can steal and maybe, another center we can plug in for a couple of years, because we're kind of being disappointed on that front, and those are minor injuries, so I'm just going to roll right on through them, and wow, we're at the end of March already. Or beginning of March, rather. And you can still see we are way, way, way back. We hit 40 points, but not too impressive. What did we do in the schedule-wise? Well, we beat Buffalo 10-3, and they're one of the better teams in this game. But other than that, it's looking kind of disappointing. Let's see, how far away am I from the trading deadline? Deadline is the 9th, so I can play one more week of this, and I will do that. And we beat the Hawks. And hey, there we go. We're finally getting our guys who were seriously hurt at the start of the year back. Willie Lindstrom, who's kind of been one of our key guys, and wound up going down right at the start of the season with, what was it, bone chips in his elbow. So he needs to come up, and somebody, I'm thinking Dave Hoyta, is going down. And with that, on him on the active roster. Peter Marsh is still gone for a good 5 months, so won't have him back anytime soon. Steve Gatsos, who we signed as a free agent, has actually done really well stepping in for Lindstrom. I mean, he's basically a third liner and 20 points in 40 games, so got to say I'm pretty happy with that.
Very solid numbers.
Yep. Good enough, I think, that we are going to leave him in the lineup and take Brad Palmer out, I think. Yeah. Let's see what the AI wants to do with those lines. Alrighty, I think I mostly agree with that. Lukowicz should probably go in a second, even though he's hurt. Not seeing any major issues with this AI lineup. Gatsos goes down to the fourth line. Lindstrom gets broken back in on the third. May want some.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think I can go with this for at least another week or so. What's the... Oh, there's our development report. And positives... not too bad. Negatives. Uh-oh, what do we got going on here? Oh, this is mostly guys who we aren't playing right now. Fortunately, see, Lukowicz lost another point in speed. Something is very wrong with that guy. And Barry Melrose, who's had a bad season for us to begin with, just lost 3 points. One is an offensive one that doesn't really matter much for him, but defensive read and acceleration going downhill. Guys only in their 20s and they're slipping already. That's not great news. Oh, I mean, good.
Howardchuk.
Yeah, Howardchuk got
went up.
Yeah, face-off rating came up a little bit, so he's not that alarming. Andy Moog gets traded to Boston. He wound up there a few years later in real life. Board confidence update.
Oh.
Okay, we've been playing. He likes how we've been playing in the last 3 weeks, and but he tells us we have to get back on track. So what does that translate to in owner confidence? And we've gone from yellow to orange. So we are almost in trouble. I think we may be able to make it to the end of the season, in which case we can hopefully not get fired in the off season and then turn this around next year when our guys should really be starting to improve. Can't remember what year it was in real life the Jets started to pick up. Was it 82, 83? 83, 84? I think that was once they had Howardchuk and Babbage. They got a lot better.
I think it was the year after Howardchuk, but...
Yeah, that would have been, so it would have been the next season. Okay, I'm happy line-wise. I'm just going to play this to... Let's play it right up to the trading deadline. And taking a quick look on the schedule, what did we do? We beat the Canucks, we beat the Wings, and we beat. So we've won 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Wow. See, everybody's worried about their jobs now. Deadline's getting close, and they suddenly start playing a lot better, and we're out of last place overall. That win over the Canucks pushed them into last and us into 20th.
So I just took a little look here. The 1981-82 season for the real-life Jets, they finished at 500, going 33, 33, and 14.
Oh, were they that good already? Okay.
Second in the Norris.
So we're horribly underperforming.
But the 82-83 season, they went 33 and 39 and 8.
Oh, they went 83-84,
they went 31, 38, and 11. And it wasn't until 84-85 that they went 43, 27, and 10.
Okay, so we It's not
We're
that
still
high of a
ahead.
standard to live up to, so.
We're still ahead.
Let's see. Right now we're playing Bruce Boudreau, who prior to being a coach was sort of a career AHLer, and we signed him as a free agent and had him on the fourth line just after we sent Howard down, and he's done nothing special really. Uh, Center is a bit of a problem for us. Right wing looks reasonably deep now. Left wing, especially with Lukowicz going downhill, that's a bit of a concern. And we got so many good young defensemen. I don't really want to mess with that too much. And goaltending, Berter's up to 3.5 stars. He's only 29, so he's holding steady. And we got Dan Bouchard as a backup, so I don't think we need to do anything about the goaltending, but either center or left wing depth, like maybe top two center or third, fourth line left wing is something to look for. So I'm just going to take a look through the standings, and for teams who are in almost as much trouble as we are. Whalers, XWHA team. Let's see if they can help us out any, and see if they're going to be willing to move somebody. Center-wise, they got Denny Savard in the draft, and they got Mike Rogers behind him, so they're kind of wasting Rogers a little bit. But the rest of their centers are terrible, and oh god, the left wing is a complete mess. Yeah, no wonder these guys are bad. Okay, let's think possibly Rogers. But we will see Pittsburgh last. Pittsburgh and Washington's not too far ahead of them. Pittsburgh, Andre Savard, Oris Kinderchuk, Greg Malone. Nothing there they'd really want. They got Wayne Cashman and a trade from the Bruins. He's not doing much. He looks like he has hit the wall at 36. Pat Hughes, not bad. Mark Johnson. A little bit of depth. Jordy Douglas had a great year last year. I didn't notice that. It's way better than they did in real life. Okay, so there's potentially some left-wing guys on the Penguins. Capitals, what do we got? They've moved Mike Gartner over to the left wing, but Ilka Sinisalo is there as well. Not a whole lot. Real Kluche, wow, what are they putting They got all these right wings they're putting over on the left side. They got Tony Tandy, Bengt Gustafsson on the right. Okay. So there might be some left wing depth there, and at center it's Dennis Marouk, and they drafted Adam Oates, who's off to a much earlier start than his actual NHL career, and doing reasonably well, but I don't see that. Marouk is going to be they're going to want way too much for him. And
yeah.
So there's really nothing at all after him. There's Oates, but he's not going to help us right now, which is kind of what we're hoping to do. The Canucks, I remember they were in bad shape. Hey, we could do what we're doing with the modern game and collecting a bunch of Brandon Wheat Kings for the Jets. Builder Legos with the Canucks and available. They had traded him for, I think, by this point they had traded him for Tiger Williams and Real NHL, him and Rick Vive. Left wings aren't. There's actually some depth there. They got Rod Shutt out of Pittsburgh. Almost leaning towards doing something with them. They've actually gone, wow. Bernie Nichols at center, Doug Shedden at center too, so why are they so bad? They've got the defense looks awful. That's why. And career IHLer, I think Paul Skidmore's their backup in goal, so the goaltending doesn't look impressive, but maybe they want to. I think we should try for Derlego and maybe see if we can get him for one of our defensemen, since they seem to need help there.
Sure, not going to hurt.
Yeah, Canucks have a weakness at left defense. Well, what do the Jets have to offer them? Got Saarinen, the guy we took late in the draft last year. He's got 3-star potential. Randy Gregg. Obviously, we don't want to trade Babbage. But Gregg or Tim Waters, they're only got 3-star potential, and they've already, according to the ability column, they've already hit that. They've probably got a little bit of room to improve, but there won't be that much. Greg's having a good year. Waters not doing too badly either. If we were to give them a solid, Greg and one of our centers, maybe for Derlego and their like 5th or 6th defenseman as a throw-in. That might make sense. Any objections to moving Greg?
No, he's 3 stars, right?
Yep.
No.
And the Canucks, it's not going to happen either, regardless, because Derlego hasn't been with them long enough, so they're not going to trade him. Period. I got this note at the end of the trade summary. So much for that idea. And the other guys, Nichols and Shedden, the problem is all of these guys are too young. I think Derlego's actually, Derlego, they just re-signed to a contract. That's probably why that message is coming up. So that is not going to work. Let's go back to another WHA team and see what the Nordiques have. It's a collection of future coaches. Robbie Ftorek, Butch Goring, Dale Hunter. Not much on the left wing, and they've only got 2 right wings. Wow. So obviously Hunter would be nice to have, but there's, I bet, pretty much no way they're going to give him up. They're paying Butch Goring a ton of money. He is from Winnipeg, so would be interesting. And Ftorek was almost over the hill at this point. He's 3 stars out of 3 in the game, so I don't think we could expect much in the future out of him. And I don't really want to trade a good guy for, a younger guy for somebody that's like him or for Goring. I think the sweet spot is center in his late 20s, second liner, and the Nordiques don't really have anybody like that. Man, this is not...
I think about something that might be interesting.
Go ahead.
It looks like, so trading with Minnesota.
Yeah, first in Norris, but yeah.
They have Scott Bustad.
Bugstead, yep, right wing.
And who was the other good one I took from? I think maybe Mike Moeller. Player.
Is Moeller? I don't see.
On the protected list.
On the reserve list or protected list? Yeah, there he is. That's funny. I actually met Mike Moeller once. My buddy of my dad was the guy that scouted him for whichever was it. Can't remember which WHL team he was playing for, but Jim, my dad's buddy, scouted him and he introduced me to him once. Nice guy. So Moeller and Bugstad.
With 2 throw-ins of Kelly Greenbank and Paul Pajot for Dave Hoyda, Mark Heaslip, Gord McTavish, and a couple of picks.
Define a couple. It must be pretty decent picks.
5 and 8.
Oh, that's all. Okay.
They were willing to make that swap.
Okay, so let me see if I remember all that. 5, 8, and Hoyda, McTavish. What was the others?
Heaslip.
McTavish.
A couple. Was one of them the rights? And Heaslip and McTavish are on the rights.
There we go. Heaslip and McTavish. So Hoyda, Heaslip, McTavish, and the 2 draft picks for Bugstad.
Greenbank, Pajot,
Greenbank, and
they said yes to this in version. Although we're 1940 and 7.
And Mike Moeller, rights to Mike Moeller, I guess. Oh, there he is. They've got him contracted. So yeah, just looking at this, I know Bugstad was, I think, on the '84 U.S. Olympic team. He didn't make it to the NHL for quite a while, but he's got decent potential. Pajot was a Canadian Olympic team goalie in '80, I think. Never really did anything in the NHL. I think he had I think 1 or 2 games with the Kings. Kelly Greenbank was, yeah, I think his career was basically over by now. He was with the Cleveland Barons in the late 70s, and Mike Moeller was just getting started, wound up playing for Buffalo and Edmonton. And the other guys, Hoyte Heaslip, they were in the league for a little while with the Jets and never really amounted to anything. So we're not really giving up much. So I think let's try this. And he wants us to increase our offer a little, so it didn't quite work.
Well, change the 8th and it might go.
Say that again, I didn't dropped out.
8th round pick to a 7.
Just taking a quick look at some of the guys they've got at center. I'm going to try, actually, I'm going to see if I can get Tim Young, who's basically their third-line center right now, despite being a 4-star guy. For some reason, they're playing Mike Eaves over him, although he's producing a ton of points. And they've got Neil Broughton as well, so... they just re-signed him, so forget that idea. Oh, let's just try that 7th rounder and see if it does that.
And if it doesn't, the 6th probably will go.
And it didn't, so let's try the 6th. Still saying no. You have to increase it a little.
Trade next year's 5th. Just helps us rebuild and gives us a little bit more depth.
Still the same thing. You have to increase the offer a little. I'm going to try dropping a couple of these guys out.
Well, they had 50 players, but I guess we're only giving it with the rights guys, so maybe it will work.
Yeah, I think if I take... Yeah,
Don't really need the goalie.
Yeah, I took Peugeot out of there, and I'm going to just leave it as a 5th rounder, and then I'll add picks to that if they don't want this. Oh, wait, our guy's saying they won't accept it, so I will go back to offering them the 7th round. Let's try. Same old thing. Have to increase the offer a little.
Yeah, it's just being...
I'm going to try taking out one of the... maybe take McTavish out and see if we've got somebody that's a little more interesting to give him. What was McTavish? He was he was actually a throw. He's a 3-star guy. Maybe we should be signing him, but I don't really see anybody else that we'd want to give up down there. Yeah, McTavish isn't something we can take out of that deal. I will try next year's 5th rounder again, and then if they don't want this, I think I'm going to have to try something else with a different team. Nope, same thing. Still want a better offer. So back to the drawing board with somebody else, I think.
Shows you the variety we have. That one game it works and one game it won't.
Yeah. Yeah, we're a month or so farther into the season, and so we've got probably some guys who've signed contracts, and the other teams have shuffled their roster a little. What do the Flames have to give us? Kent Nielsen, Jet in the WHA. They've got Gary Unger on the trading block, but he looks like he's at the end of his career, 2.5 stars, so not a good idea. Not much else. I'm just mainly looking for centers right now. Colorado, I really doubt it. Kelly Kizio, actually, they've got a few young guys. Merlin Malinowski, Don Cherry's favorite player, and Mike Bullard knocked the talk show host. And Don Ashby, who is actually dead in real life by this point. It's kind of morbid. But nothing want to try. And the Kings are second in division, but only 59 points. Well, there's Ivan Boldarev, who was on the Canucks and had a pretty decent 81-82. He was on that team that made it to the finals. And it looks like he's playing on the third line in LA. He's 32, but he would fit in well on our first line for now. So he's got a big contract too, and oh boy. Yeah, there's a big contract and 5 years left on it, so I can probably get him fairly cheaply, but he's going to eat up some budget space for us. I think we've got so much that we don't have to worry about it though. Let's try throwing McTavish out there. They will actually give us McTavish. They will give us Boulder after the rights to McTavish. I don't think they want to be stuck with that contract, but we can afford it. And yep, they took it. So Ivan Boldarev joins the Jets for effectively nothing. And Bruce Boudreau can go back down to the minors. Boldarev dresses, and let's rebuild our lines. Yeah, AI knows what it's doing now. Finally, the AI decides that Lukowich can go ahead as Smale. And Boldarev goes onto the first line, pushes everybody else down. Yeah, this is looking much better. Lindstrom's on the point. Ron Flockhart actually gets the first spot in the power plays. I'm okay with that. And I don't think we'll make any other trades on this deadline. I don't see anything that urgently needs to be done. We're playing okay right now. So I'm just going to finish today, and then let's take a look at the other deals that got made. Wow, we were the only one. That's oddly quiet. There were a few few deals in the run-up to the trading deadline. That's what's going on. Oh, and Gretzky got hurt a few weeks ago, apparently. Strained groin, out for 4 weeks. So Gretzky's had his injury problems. Wow, he's not even on the top scorers list at all? What's going on with that guy this year? Yeah, he should be on there. 87 points in 46 games. Oh, but we're a lot farther into the season. I guess he's, 46 games is missing 20 games. So, yeah, he's missed a third of the season for one reason or the other. So the Oilers have an injury-prone Gretzky. That kind of makes the 80s a little more unpredictable.
In the chat, PWOG66 says, hashtag WCHA to introduce 3v3 overtime and shootout 3-payment NHL nets for the 2016-17 season.
3 points for a win now? Oh. I think they're the first team in North America, first league in North America to do that.
A little interesting.
Yeah. Okay, we have 11 games remaining in the regular season, so I think I will just tear through March, see where we wind up. I won't deliberately try tanking by calling up a bad goalie or something, and Ron Flockhart naturally gets injured right away. As soon as we trade for another center, what's wrong with him? Out for 8 days with shoulder tendonitis, so...
I thought you were going to tell me that one of our goalies got hurt already.
Oops, I don't want to dress Markel. I want to send him down. And just for this week, I will probably call Boudreau back up unless there's somebody else interesting down there now. He's clearly the best center. So this is probably going to be the highlight of Bruce Boudreau's remaining career.
I would imagine.
And how do I fix the line? Steen, I think, will just go up in most cases. Boldarev goes up in the second power play unit. He wasn't playing any special teams. Boudreau goes in the third. And I will see if I can get Thomas Steen scoring a little bit more by giving him the second power play center job. Oh. Put Lukowicz back in there as well. Okay, trying again to sim to the end of the... Oh, we got news. Oh, that's our scouting report.
Oh, that's always important.
Yeah. And we will let this roll on through the end of March. Gatsos is day to day. Don't care. We'll just keep going. Huh? And new scouting. Okay, Gatsos gets injured for real. I know it's still a minor injury. Recurring back spasms for 3 weeks, which is probably not great. I think I'm going to scratch him for that time period because I think that'll take us pretty much to the end of the season. We'll get Jeremy Mann back in and goon it up a little bit on the way to the end of the season. Where are we now? 55 points. So we're kind of scraping our way back into it. It's not a complete disaster of a season. We're almost out of second last overall if we can beat the Penguins. And looks like we did, and we're... Oops, that went a little bit fast, but... all the way up to 18th place. 61 points, 2 ahead of Hartford, and Pittsburgh, and 10 ahead of Vancouver, who, wow, it is not their year. This was their Cup final year, too. So, something's definitely gone wrong there. The Oilers without Gretzky still seem to be doing okay, and Montreal. Montreal, the Islanders, the Stars. No big surprises right at the top. They've been there for most of the game most of this game. 4 games for us left. Let's see if the mailbox has anything interesting.
Probably not.
I got a development report. That's a nice one. You like seeing there's no negative ones except for our third string goalie. And a lot of development. Where's Howardchuk? Yeah, his defensive stats came up a little bit. Yeah, a lot of the younger guys improving. Did anybody get up to 3.5 stars yet? Oh, Dave Christian is... I don't think he was 3.5 stars. I think that he just made that.
Let me just take a quick look here.
And Lube was 2.5, and he's at 3 now. That's good.
Dave Christian was at 3.5.
Oh, he was at 3.5? Okay, so...
Yep.
And Coffee is up to 3.5 from 3. So, yeah, we're getting a lot of guys trying to stand, just stepping it up now. So I think we could have, if we look at the back half of this season and project that going into next year, I think we're going to have a decent start. Let's just hope the, whoops. Let's just hope the owner confidence still more or less where it was. And the objective for the season was rebuilding, so I think we managed to do that. And let's just run this out till the end of the playoffs, and we'll go through the playoffs fairly quickly because we ain't involved in them, and get to the draft, which may be a little more interesting. So, final standings. After 80 games, yeah, we wound up in 18th, so we'll be picking 4th overall. Which is,
excellent.
Yeah, a fairly good draft this year. A little depressing after we made it into the playoffs unexpectedly last year. So let's see how we did division-wise. 11 points back of the Wings. Pretty ugly goal differential. And oops. So Matty Hagman, great year. I mean, keep in mind these are early 80s era scoring stats, so 85 points then was nowhere near as big a deal as it is now. Hagman 85 points. Paul Coffey, another nice year. Hakan Lube, great rookie year. I think we might have a Calder candidate there actually. Christian picked it up at the end of the season, so that's good news. Lukovic, point totals are down, but I think he was doing a little bit better by that point than, did a little bit better at the end, and he didn't go down in that last development report, so that's good. Flockhart, another good rookie year. Ron Wilson, chugging right along. Played literally every game we've had so far, and Boldarev, 16 points in 14 games is the trade deadline pickup. Babbage, Randy Gregg had a good year. Doug Smale progressing nicely. Scott Campbell still pretty solid. Steve Gatsos, a free agent. Okay, Steen did not have a fantastic year. We rushed him up a little bit earlier than I think he was actually 82. No, maybe 81 before he stayed. I think this might have been his real rookie year, but we had him up a couple of seasons earlier. So that may have thrown things off. You could see the bad numbers for Howard Chuck. Brad Palmer, who should be better than this really, and Willie Lindstrom did not do well after coming back from the injury. I think that works out to about 5 points in 17 games. Something did not go well for him. Yeah. Peter Marsh out for the year with an injury. Barry Melrose, he's probably done. Claude Julien in the minors. John Markell in the minors, and the rest of it is minor leaguers. Quick look at the goalie numbers. Wow, we're paid 79 games. I think I know why that is. It's probably pulling the goalies too quickly in the high scoring era. I got to go back and look at changing the code for that in a league that's getting that many goals scored in it. But the goals against average is awful by modern standards, but passable to mediocre by 80s ones. And Dan Bouchard, pretty much identical to what he did for us last year, so solid backup, but his starting days are probably done. Board confidence update in the last few weeks, still promising. And he's officially unhappy with us now. So we have to get the team back on track soon, and I will assume that means next season. So we are going to be drafting for guys who can play right away. Fortunately, there may be a few. So I think I'm going to do this, what is this, April 6th? Go week by week through the playoffs, just see how those work out.
You should also remember that our contract's up at the end of the year.
Good point. I don't want to miss that email and get fired.
I mean, it would be kind of funny, but...
And at least lost their goalie in the playoffs. That's... And yeah, I'll do this. Just advance it day by day. So, first round winners: Montreal, Boston, Islanders, Rangers. I think that Ranger one might be an upset. Same with the Boston one, possibly. Stars over the Leafs, Blues over the Hawks. Calgary beats Edmonton. And Colorado, wow, the Rockies are actually getting in. They didn't not only made the playoffs, but made into the second round, and they're going to move to New Jersey in the offseason anyhow.
Okay, before you go any farther, have you looked at our free agents? Did I miss that?
I think I've got everybody signed. I'm fairly sure, or I have no idea what I'm talking about. Wow, yeah, there are a bunch of them.
Including both their goalies.
Yeah, so let's talk to Ritter first. See, this is a problem when you get going. You want to try and rip through the season really quickly. You forget minor things like re-signing your players.
Yes, including our 3.5 star guys who, probably should get paid.
Berder's numbers are reasonable. I'm probably just going to give everybody what more or less what they're asking. Well, not Bouchardy's. If he goes more than about 50, I'm going to cut him down. Wow, he wants 92. I will give you 80 because you're not going to be that good at the end of 3 years, buddy. Pushing his luck here. I'll go up to 88.
We traded for him to be a good backup goalie, so which is something we didn't have.
92. I guess I'm going to have to do it. I don't like that.
Can you go 2 years and maybe give him a little more?
I'm going to try a 2 with the number he's asking for. Nope, he's insisting on the 3rd year. And the goalies are one of the few things that are working, so wait, I didn't think I did that properly. I did go ahead and get the offer in. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to sort this by ability, and Brodeur is good. Dave Christian, we definitely need to give him whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah. Or Scott Campbell.
110, that's perfectly reasonable.
And Randy Gregg. Thomas Dean.
Surprised we've got this many young guys. You think you got a young team, you don't expect to have this many contracts coming up. Ron Wilson, been good for us.
Well, that's a good way to dump a bunch of 1 and 2-star guys. So.
See if I can squeeze a little bit of cash out of Wilson here. Okay, at least he's going to meet me in the middle here. I saved a couple of thousand on his. Scott Campbell. Him I'm not really inclined to spend big money on because he's gone downhill a little bit.
But we still need some depth defensemen, if nothing else.
He wants 54. Okay, that's barely a raise for him, so I'll take that.
Well, isn't that a minimum thing on there, or am I wrong?
No, minimum is lower than that. That's just the minimum. The minimum it was saying there is the amount you need to offer him as a restricted free agent. And Thomas Steen will get a... Yeah, you see the minimum qualifying offer is 14.5, and he only wants 27. That's just fine for a third-line center. Jimmy Mann, if he's asking for more than 14,000, okay, go ahead, Jimmy, you can have that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh, wait, why did it not? That's weird. Why is it giving me 13.6 instead of the 14 that should be? And now they all changed to 14. That is strange.
Not sure.
And because I screwed up the offer, he's just going to ignore me now. Damn. Okay, well, it's Jimmy Mann. It's no big loss. Tim Waters, definitely want to get him re-signed. 37, okay, I can do that. Randy Gregg. Only wants 19 for, only for 2 years. Let's see if I can get him to sign for 3 at that price, because that's a great price for Randy Gregg. Yep, he'll do it. Good news.
Not unsurprising, but...
Yeah. Barry Melrose, I know he's going downhill. If he'll sign really cheaply, I'll give him a new contract, and he will 18,000 for 2 years. Yeah, that's fine. That'll just give us a little defensive depth. I don't really see us using him next year, but just in case. I think I got everybody there. I'm going to take a look at the reserve list for the high potential guys. There are not a lot of those. Ross Corey, who's like our number 8 or 9 defenseman, played for us in our first year. He's still got 2.5 stars, so I think I'll just... If he'll take... Yeah, he only wants 14. So that'll give us a little bit of defensive depth. Yakuchuk, Ryu, Mark Plantry. Oh, I could have sworn he's played a game for us. But more defensive depth, yeah, that's... He wants 3 years. I don't know about that. See if he'll go for 2. Buddy, you're the number 8 defenseman. You're not getting a 3rd year out of me. Forget it. Yeah, we're kind of loaded for goalies. So Marcus Matson is pretty much irrelevant at this point, and I can let him go as a free agent. Bob Janisic, who we... Good.
Oh, the Twitch stream just dropped off on my end here. Not really sure why. I'm just reloading to see if it... Okay, it's back. Yeah, that's weird.
Seems to be okay for me. Yep. So we're going to cut down our goalies by a couple. We'll be leaving as free agents. Hoyt is decent trade bait, so I'm going to give him a new deal, 14 for 2. Yep, perfect. Oops. I'll actually do it for 1. And let me do it that way, sort by potential. Landry, Markel, we've got enough young guys. I'm not going to worry about re-signing him. We re-signed Hoyta. And everybody from there on is 2 stars, so I think I can leave it at there and we'll clear a bunch of the deadwood off of the bottom end of the roster.
Probably a good plan.
Yeah. And getting back to the playoffs. Yeah, Blues. So, second round, Montreal, Boston, Islanders, Rangers, good series in the East. And, wow, that's looking ugly in the West, just like it did in real life this year. Just going to go day by day, and Bruins open up a 1-0 lead. Bruins surprising Montreal. And the Islanders sweep, and the Bruins might be about to pull off the upset here.
Nah, I can't believe it.
Yeah, game 6 going into now. Are they going to choke it? Oh, and they're going to game 7. Are they going to blow the 3-1 lead?
Yes.
Yeah, and they did. Montreal in 7 games. So, big final, Montreal again, or big semifinal, the Islanders against Montreal. And my God, the Rockies have actually made it to the semifinals.
Awesome.
That's amazing. I'm open for a Montreal Colorado final here. The Blues win game 1 though, and so did the Islanders, so we're going to get the exact opposite of that. No, Canadians might be coming back. Blues are up 3-0. No, Canadians even it up. Blues sweep the Rockies, so the Rockies don't get to be the game version of the 82 Canucks. And Montreal might have... nope, yeah, they're going to go to game 7. And Montreal beats New York in game 7, so definitely no Islander dynasty in this game.
Surprising.
And Blues and Montreal in the final. So does St. Louis actually win its first cup here, or does Montreal's up 1-0, up 2-0? Blues win 2-1 Montreal. And the Blues even it up.
Surprise.
3 games to go. Montreal wins game 5, so they could wrap it up here. Nope, it's going to go to 7. Any bets before I hit finish today?
Not a single one.
Kind of hoping for the Blues. It'd be a nice upset. And the Blues win the Stanley Cup, which they still haven't done in real life yet. So who is on this Blues team to manage the big upset? Look at their playoff stats. Oh, but they got Barry Peterson, but Michel Goulet, that definitely helps. Mostly the real life Blues, and then a few other good guys. Bob Mano, Serge Savard wound up on going to Buffalo and then St. Louis, and he comes back to beat his old team, Montreal, in the finals.
Of course.
And yeah, Larry Patey, Greg Terrion. Wow, they've got a nice checking line. Patey, Terrion, and Marcotte. And Mike Liut in goal. I'm guessing he's the one that
carried that team.
Playoff stat, yeah. 3.53 goals against average. Nothing terrific. With Montreal, yeah, Montreal had Beaupre in goal again. And yeah, geez, Lafleur 40-point playoffs. Rushkini, yeah, St. Louis should not have won that. Montreal kind of fell. It looks like they had a few guys missing, and yeah, they had a couple of defensemen out due to injury, it looks like. Anything bad? Oh, and Jorgen Pedersen, who we sent them, wound up getting hurt and not playing. But another surprise Cup champion. I will quickly check the emails. We got the award winners here. And Lube got Rookie of the Year. So that's our first trophy winner with the Jets.
Of course.
And Bob Gainey getting the Selkie. That's not a surprise. Lafleur actually got the Smythe, even though the Canadians lost in Game 7, that 40-point season. With Gretzky hurt, Dion winds up as the MVP. And Liut, yeah, top goalie, no surprise. And North Star's GM gets Rookie of the Year, and Rod Langway gets his first Norris. So I think that was the first year he won it for real. Or no, it wasn't until he was traded to Washington, I think, which was the next year. So he won that a year early. But yeah, definitely a major upset there. And do we have anything left to do this season? I think we've taken care of all of our contracts.
Well, you're going to have one to sign very shortly.
Which one?
Yours.
Oh, right, yeah.
And maybe that'll be a great place to end it. Assuming we get offered a contract.
Yeah, I have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, there's all of our deals. At least there aren't any rumors about us being fired yet. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Okay, take it to the end of... Oops, it's only the end of May. Yeah, there's interesting. Look at that. Ulf Nielsen, who's been horribly injured this year, just like he was with the real Rangers, is a free agent, so we could bring him back to Winnipeg.
It'll be something to watch for sure.
And, oh man, this is not good. Development report, Lukowicz lost 3 points. Accuracy, hitting, and stamina. Boy. So I don't know how much longer we can rely on him being a top 6 guy. Everything else picking up. Howard Chuck improving defensively. What is my front office looking like? Oh yeah, I should renew my assistant coaches. He doesn't want to re-sign with us. We need to add one assistant coach before the start of the next season.
That's easy enough.
Okay. Fire this through to the end of June. Contract extension from Winnipeg. Thank you very much.
Woo! And we have survived.
And I'm going to take the maximum job security and take the cheapest amount for 4 years.
To allow us to hire a better assistant coach.
Jets seek stability, says the headline. Hopefully we'll be able to give him that. And not much going to happen through the end of June, so I will just get us up to there, and I'll probably run us right up to the
free agency?
Free agency, yeah, or maybe even right to the draft.
I think there's somebody in free agency we can maybe look at.
Yeah, so actually we've got some interesting retirements here. Craig Ramsay. Ramsay decided to quit early. B.J. McDonald, Sir Savard, that makes sense. He won the cup and retired. Jerry Korab retiring. He was actually doing a little bit. I think he had retired 83 in real life. Well, early. Bob Daly was on the Canadians, getting hurt a lot, retired.
Not too many unsurprising ones.
Yeah, my scouting ratings moved up a little bit. Oh, and our board confidence update, they still want to rebuild for the next season. Budget looks okay.
It would be odd if they said, we want everything to be the exact same.
Okay, let's take a quick peek at the free agent center. Not going to look at unrestricted free agents. No point in going for an offer sheet, but I'm not going to look at restricted free agents, rather.
I think Nick Bustad is there, who we were looking at earlier for a trade. I think we could probably snatch him on up, unless he's signed earlier.
Yeah, no, they still own his rights, so
I'll offer him $65,000 a year, and he'll probably sign.
Remember, this is the old free agent rules, though, so we've got to give him some stupid amount of compensation if we do. But nope, I'm looking for him, and I don't think Bugstad. Nope, they didn't. They must have re-signed him.
Huh. Well,
literally the best player in the free agent pool was Chris Nyland, so and he's a restricted free agent, so that gives you an idea of how bad the free agency pickings went without full free agency. And yeah, all the unrestricted guys are pretty much what was there through the regular season. So we'll maybe keep an eye on that towards the beginning of the regular season, but I'm not going to bother trying to sign somebody right now, because I kind of suspect the higher end of that is just bad scouting, and there's nobody that impressive anyhow. So entry draft is July the 10th.
Yeah.
We'll just run it through to that.
And a perfect spot
we got
for us to go.
mail. That needs a response. What's going on? Oh, a bunch of trades going on, mostly minor stuff. Oh, wow, the Leafs traded Daryl Sittler away finally. So the Ballard effect finally must have kicked in a little late. Darren Veitch, Todd Bergen, and sixth rounder. So yeah, they got a pretty good return out of the Nords for him, better than they got from Philadelphia in real life. A few other smaller ones. Wow, Montreal. Yeah, that's a blockbuster. Rod Langway from Montreal to Glenn Anderson. For Glenn Anderson.
That is a big trade.
Oh, Montreal not happy about losing in the finals apparently, and I think they traded. Yeah, I think this means they actually traded Langway the same offseason they did it was '82. And some minor deals. Oh, Peter Marsh. We forgot to take him off the injured list. And forgot to re-sign him apparently, but he's down to 2.5 stars. And the Oilers have signed him as a restricted free agent. So
well,
I'm not going to match that. And he is so cheap that then we don't get any compensation for it, unfortunately.
That's okay. One less contract for us is never a bad thing.
Yep, okay, and there we are on draft day now. Total number of contracts is down to 35. So
Perfect.
Lots of room to take players. Give everybody a quick preview of what's available in the entrance draft. I was wrong. I was thinking this was a draft that Gilmore was actually selected in, but he was passed over in the year prior to that. So in this game, he was actually selected last year by the Oilers. So he is not available this time around.
Yes.
But what we do have is Scott Stevens, who's showing an oddly low potential number. The big guy in this draft, I remember, was Brian Bellows. He was supposed to be the expected number one for most of the season. And Gary Nyland was the only one who was thought to be close to him. And then the Bruins wound up surprising everybody and took Gord Kluzak with the first overall pick, which turned out really badly for them because Kluzak was chronically injured. I think he maybe played 200 games totally in the NHL, some really small amount. And the best defenseman it wasn't Kluzak, wasn't Nyland, it was Scott Stevens, who wound up going 5th to Washington.
Yep. Right player at the right time.
And there's some kid named Ron Hextall available for goalies, so if we want to get a future guy there, and another former Wheat King. Yeah, Gary Suter. Phil Housley, another future Jet. That's a reasonably deep draft. We're drafting 4th overall, but we will leave it there, and we will do the draft next time out, because I think we're at 5 after 8, so our time is done.
Yes.
So if you want to sign off now, go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager 2 stream. We stream every week on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. If you missed our Twitch stream, that's okay. You're probably watching it right now on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. You can come our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager, or our Twitter, which is @FranchiseHockey. If you just talk to the developers, other hockey fans, or for our sister games like Out of the Park Baseball, come to our website, which is otpdevelopments.com. And Jeff, did I miss anything? I don't think I did.
No, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Hopefully we'll be able to get some FHM3 news for everybody soon. We're hard at work on that. In fact, I will be going right back to that as soon as I'm done with this. So we will. It's getting season starting. It's getting pretty close. So we'll be letting you know some of the details of FHM3 very soon. So I think that's pretty much it. So thank you everyone for watching the broadcast, and we will see you next week. Be back with the modern Jets, who win a little more frequently than this team does.
Yes, that's for sure. All right, thank you, and we'll see you again.